Hello, brilliant beauties. I am so excited to join you this week. I have felt very divinely inspired to merge the subjects of biblical wisdom, high performance research, and the astrology that's happening right now with Sirius entering and a new moon entering and a 7-7 portal activating today. So I want to invite you to create some space for yourself, take a deep breath, and let's start to tap in and ground into our energies. My name is Dr. J. I'm a high performance coach, most importantly, a horse mom who used my daughter's love of horses to inspire courageous career change, quadruple my income, buy the $1.5 million house, build out an Airbnb, put a horse in the yard for her, and then to have it all come crashing down 5 months later with a layoff, and 2 days after that, a very aggressive cancer diagnosis. So to say my life got flipped, turned upside down would be an understatement. I decided to sell it all and embrace an entirely new operating system. Oh, I'm getting my right leg tingle. I can't even believe that I'm sharing that with you because I worked so hard, so tirelessly, so fearlessly towards making those dreams a reality for my daughter. And I know that there's probably someone here listening who also has been working very, very hard. And it may have led you to a place where your health has been compromised. It may have led you to a place where your relationships have been compromised. And I'm excited to share with you the research on high performance shows that the world's highest performers have consistent high levels of performance while maintaining their health and well-being and quality relationships. That is so exciting to me because I learned that I was a peak performer. I would scale the peak tenaciously, and then I would have to plummet to the valley below to recover in preparation to scale again. And that's exhausting, right? I love my Peloton. I think about it as if I'm at a high level of resistance and I'm climbing with my girl Robin Artzone or with Alex Tucson or Abby or, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting my other, Tunde, all my favorites. And if I'm climbing and I keep that momentum going, woo, I'm unstoppable. But when I stop and then have to start with that same resistance and then stop and then start, that's how we exhaust ourselves. So I want you to think about the subjects of burnout because I'm hearing from a lot of my female clients that they're facing burnout. And burnout actually happens when we're working in areas that aren't our strengths. And that might be your operating system, might be focused more on your masculine energies. And I'm excited to share with you there's some research that was conducted with 64,000 survey participants across 18 nations in Fortune 500 boardrooms. So very high achievers, a large enough end to matter, and a global research study. That research showed femininity and 11 feminine energies as the operating system for 21st century prosperity. I want to invite you to join me in my masterclass that's going live July 15th through the 18th. I'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern for an hour of training and immersion in high performance. I want to give you all the tools so that you can look at the 6 pillars of high performance. They master their psychology or their inner dialogue, their mindset. And it's not just mindset, positive affirmations. I'm going to show you the best tool to train your mind, and it comes from work that I did out of MIT. And so I guarantee you've probably never seen that before. I want you signed up. They also focus on their physiology. So we know that we need more hours in a day, and we can craft those by how we design the day, how we manage our energy with sleep, nutrition, fitness, all kinds of really exciting things that helped me change the trajectory of my disease with cancer. I'd be sitting here bald and fuzzy headed in the aftermath of 4 months of radiation and aggressive chemotherapy if I hadn't been the rebel in the room that said, yes, and yes, I'll take all of the best of Western medicine and all that my team provided. And I'm going to add complementary alternative medicine, functional medicine, and all the strategies that I can possibly put in my toolkit. Because when my daughter asked me, what happens to me if you die? I said, honey, I ain't going down. And I know right now that if you're in the middle of a fight, it is time to dial up tenacity. It is time to dial up fierce. It is not time to be gentle, right? We have to know when to be fierce and when to be gentle with ourselves. And right now, we're in a season of rebirth of our spiritual energy. Sirius and Lionsgate portals are opening. Today's the 7-7 portal. So this is a powerful portal, this door that's cracking open. And all you have to do is look for blessings and offerings. with a spirit of curiosity and wonder and intuition. That's your feminine energy. You don't have to lean into the aggressive goal setting, decisiveness, determination, and discipline. Those are great skills. You've already built them, sweetheart. They're what got you here. We can trust that we still have those skills without over leaning into them. So I want to invite you to keep your eyes and heart full of curiosity. The feminine planet Venus is beginning to touch the light of Sirius, which is the brightest star in the firmament. And so these luminaries that are keeping Sirius aligned with this new moon that emerged, and the Lionsgate portal is going to be opening August 8th, which is when the celebration arrives. So I want you thinking of today, July 7th, through August 8th. So over these next 30 days, what do you want to do? What would the brightest vision of yourself do? I want you to be thinking about how you're showing up. Each morning when you put your feet on the floor, express gratitude for the ground beneath your feet, for the earth in which your home is placed, for the beautiful aesthetic, whether that's wood floors, tile, lush carpeting, whatever it is that's beneath your tootsie toes as you place your feet on the ground. Express gratitude for the creators of that, for the people who installed it, for the engineers who designed the roads and the architecture for those products to be delivered. And then, as you stretch your body out of bed, express gratitude for its strength, for its resilience, for the immune system that fights all of those toxic cells each and every day for ourselves. And then, as you walk in to brush your teeth, same thing. Who designed the formulation of that toothpaste to make sure it's fluoride free, right? Who designed the plumbing, the water systems? Don't take anything for granted. Express loads of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational energies for you to manifest your next level of success. So I always like to say, get your gals. G-A-L. Those are the 3 highest vibrational words that you can manifest from. And the first is gratitude. The highest vibrational word starts with the letter A. Go ahead and guess what it is. The second highest vibrational word starts with the letter L, and the third highest is G. But I have to have like an acronym that orients my mind. ALG didn't sit as well as get your gals. Get your gals. So I want you joining me in my masterclass. You can get signed up by going to drj.com/masterclass. That's drjea.com/masterclass. I would love to see you there. If not, simply write to me. Send me a DM. I'm all about connection, because I know that a rising tide raises all ships. When I raise my vibrational energy, I raise it for everyone in my household. I raise it for my family. I raise it for my community. I raise it in the workplace, and I raise it across the globe. And that is what we're doing together as we build brilliance in ourselves and in our families, in our communities, workplaces, in the world. So I want you to be thoughtful about the brightest light entering our galaxies right now. I believe the galaxies in astronomy give us hints and inspiration to guide us through the seasons of our lives. So Sirius is not only the brightest star in our sky, it is a source of life. And if you think about it, your career is the source of funding your lifestyle. So I want you to think deeply about the brightest version of yourself and how that version of you can come into life in your business this week and in your families this week and in your health this week. You see, the world's highest performers, the number one trait they all share is that they have remarkable clarity. When you join the masterclass, there's gonna be way more than I can teach here in this 20-minute live with you, but they have clarity in 3 areas. You're gonna get a clarity chart and a little worksheet for us to work through so that you can gain deep clarity, just like a high performer. High performers are no different than you and I. They just have a different playbook. And most importantly, how they think is different. The best leaders in the world have 4 attributes. We'll cover those in the masterclass as well. One of them is how they think. And so we're going to train our minds. I'm praying over you right now for the renewing of your mind. I listen to Romans 12:2 in my head every single day. I think about that normal distribution curve. I ask myself, what are most people doing right now? And I choose intentionally to live an uncommon life, to make uncommon choices. 4th of July was an amazing time for me to be bold and strong, because as I watched the norm do certain things and I chose other things, and the greatness of the law of attraction and the law of reciprocity, I was surrounded by others doing really cool things too, like going sea scalloping. How cool is that? Going roping, going jumping, doing exciting things, not sitting around getting fat, drinking beer. I used to do that. That was my 4th of July highlights, was getting bloated and inflamed. Now I have better things to do with my life, and I'm so excited about that. So let's get back onto topic. I want you to think about this season as giving birth to something new and then elevating your dedication and commitment to that. That's clarity, my friends. The world's highest performers achieve high degrees of performance because they have remarkable clarity. So I want you to think about between now and August 8th. Don't just let one day become the next and 1 week pass to then the month. Like, get yourself disrupted. Disrupt your thinking. Disrupt your patterns of behavior. Think about the high vibrational energy that exists right now as this rare alignment between Sun, Moon, and Sirius happens. That high vibrational energy often helps us feel connected to Source, part of the oneness of the universe, connected to nature. You might find great joy in spending time in nature and boosting your spirit energy during this time, during this season. There's all this positive energy flowing around us, and I want you to invite yourself. This is your invitation to seek joy, take an optimistic approach, and lead with love and compassion. Write those 3 things down in your journal. Read that to yourself every single day. Seek joy, take an optimistic approach, lead with love and compassion. This high vibrational energy of Sirius also holds the frequency of higher intelligence. It's a time when we might spark unique ideas, innovation, and the ability to think outside the realms of the conditioned mind. So if you think about that, we're highly conditioned beings as humans. We're highly predictable. We get into our patterns of behavior. And so I want you to disrupt that during this season. Couple that with the fresh energy of this new moon, and we find new inspiration, new patterns of behavior, new ways of thinking coming into our awareness, sparking excitement and hope for the future. This is also a season when our heart energy is amplified. So I want you focused on, what do you love? What do you love about work? I met Marcus Buckingham, and he talked about creating a love it, loathe it list. What do you love about your role? And what do you loathe? And then if you have a supervisor, communicate that to them. If it is your business and you're the entrepreneur, how do you do less of what you loathe? You either delegate that, you find partnerships strategically to amplify the success in those areas, and you focus on your strengths. That's what Liz Wiseman calls being a multiplier. See, we can beat burnout by doing things that multiply our energy. I want you thinking about flow state. Chick Set Me High teaches about the characteristics of flow. I've trained on that before. You can search my YouTube channel for trainings on flow, or my podcast for trainings on flow. And those spaces, when we're in flow, we're energized and we're doing what we love. And so we can connect our heart energy during this season to compassion, love, and forgiveness, and connect with the truth of how we're feeling. This new Cancer moon might also increase your levels of sensitivity. And so it's a great time to practice self-care, because as our sensitivity increases, our awareness of what our heart is saying is also increasing. And that might mean your heart is saying, hey, it's time to start that side hustle. That's what Doubt to Daring is really about. It's about going from self-doubt that exists in your mind to daring greatly, to borrow Brene Brown's words. I love that. To dare greatly in your business and in your life. That's what I named the masterclass. Initially, it was clarity to 7 figures. And then I realized it's about more than money. This is also about, like, yes, quadrupling my income was a whole lot of fun. Putting the Porsche in the garage and the $1.5 million house. I lived in my Honda Civic my first year of teaching, my friends. So it was a big deal to buy that house without a dime of maintenance, without a dime of child support. I was abandoned when my daughter was pregnant, or when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so to have built that on my own, when I was an educator, I was broke as a joke. I couldn't afford grapes. Do you know how expensive grapes are? I was teaching my daughter a lesson about the cost of grapes versus bananas. We lived on bananas because you can get down with a lot of bananas for the price of a few grapes. Like, literally, we ended up calculating it. It was like a month's worth of bananas versus a couple days worth of grapes. And so doing some ratios and having some fun at the supermarket. And so I want to invite you, as we prepare to welcome Lionsgate August 8th, to think about this space And I also want to share, it was very divinely timed that today's service at church was focused on God sending us the Holy Spirit to walk us through life with his strength. It sets us on a higher plane for living our lives. That's the fifth dimension. For those of you not familiar, get into the masterclass. 3D, 4D, and 5D. Last October, I realized there was a 5D. And I went home and I Googled and started figuring out what that was and realized, oh my gosh, I have a lot of learning and growth ahead of me. I had mastered only the 3D world and was tiptoeing into the fourth dimension. And so as we get into this higher plane for living, I want you thinking about your operating system. Your operating system is the behavioral choices that lead to uncommon or common results, depending on what those choices are. So one of the things I loved this week in church was from 1 John 14, 16 to 17. It says he will give you another advocate, one called alongside to help. And then we also learned the world doesn't often receive God because we're not looking for him and we don't recognize him. And that made me do a lot of thinking because my daughter's barber had taught me choose relationship over religion. And as I sought to be in relationship with God and Source and the divine angels and protectors and guardians of the galaxies, and I said, be real to me, magic started happening in my life. Literally, I wasn't planning on moving to Florida across the country. I was fighting like heck, coming against one closed door after another to try to stay in Colorado, the place we'd known as home for so long. And when we came here to Ocala, every door opened. Everything was easy. And I experienced this new operating system, one that was filled with peace and love and joy and support, because he was giving me other advocates, people walking alongside me, caring so deeply about me and about Gigi's dreams. And I went, oh my gosh, I've been doing all of this, struggling in a silo of silence. And here I was meant to be deeply connected, to share my heart. And so as we spend time in this heart energy, I want you to look at what are the desires of your heart. Journal about those today. Journal, what do you long for? Because this is a time for you to reconnect to the divine in your life. The energies are sensitive this week. Higher frequencies and energies exist. So we have a space for compassion, sensitivity, and love. And I want you to bring that mama bear energy with that fierceness, that boldness, the strength of our hearts. What we want to stand up for in our lives. I want to stand up for women as breadwinners. Because I know when I went from playing small to being the breadwinner and quadrupling my income, I opened doors. I was able to give generously. I'm getting that right leg tingle. I was able to live boldly, pray dangerously, love wholeheartedly. I was out in the world living almost like I did in those early years of my 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old self. I almost felt like I literally was like, God, am I going to die? I feel like I'm approaching this circular ending. And in that circular ending, I was realizing I'm coming home to who I always was. In those years, I used to journal at the beach. I was pure love. I was pure thoughtfulness. I didn't have the narrative of I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I don't know if I can. Do I have enough support? Do I have enough resources? That default mode network in the brain was so strong and so loud that I had to do a lot of neurological rewiring, mainly because I was terrified of cancer's return. And it turns out that neurological rewiring also helped me experience greater love. And I want to invite you to experience greater love. So let's focus on choosing relationship with God, Source, creation, and all that abundance that exists. This is that time for us to give birth to something new. That might be a new business idea. It might be a new version of yourself. It might be a new way to treat your children, a new way to engage with your husband or your partner, and then to elevate your dedication and commitment to it. So right now, I want you to grab your journal and write down the desires of your heart, and then elevate your dedication and commitment today. Make it a line in the sand kind of day. And then remember our three things: seek joy, take an optimistic approach, and lead with love and compassion. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so very much for this time together, for the time spent with women who are dedicated to helping other women. And God, this week in church, we talked about the fruits of your Spirit. And as we connect, we use this astrological guide of the sun, the moon, and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, that we might shine as bright as possible under the influence of that. And as we look at the fruits of the Spirit, I don't think it was an accident that these came up in today's service. Kindness, to practice moral goodness, uprightness of heart, and integrity, which means we're doing the right thing when nobody's watching. Proverbs 28:6 tells us to guard your integrity with everything you've got. And so, God, we ask that you help us guard our integrity this week and act with unprecedented levels of integrity in our business and in our families and in our lives. Number 2, goodness. Goodness is kindness in action. It moves us to do something. So to take action. In Acts 10:38, God anointed Jesus with power to do good. So we ask right now for power in our lives to go and do good in our businesses and in our families and in our communities. And number 3, gentleness. That we were designed to be strong under pressure, to see that we know who we are because we know who you are. And that is powerful, that we know that we are never alone. We know that we are strong, we are courageous, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that because we know that we can be strong under the pressure. And we can be gentle and at peace and live a life filled with virtue, have a spirit of gentleness, and just show love and light in the world this week. We thank you so much for this divine time together, Lord, and I look forward to meeting the women who get this message and say, this is my season, this is my time. We have half a year left to do big things, and we're going to stay the course with purpose. We're going to activate clarity. We're going to gain remarkable clarity. We're going to use that clarity chart and get those 3 columns all set and squared away. Because with clarity comes courageous action. And over time, courageous action refines our clarity, takes us to that next level of ultra success in our lives, financially and being blessed with abundance in our bank accounts. And most importantly, that those bank accounts fund our lifestyle ambitions. They allow us to give irrationally and generously to those in need and to provide for our family to do fun things that are unforgettable. We thank you for being the guide, for directing our steps, and for transforming our minds so that we may think differently. Because when we think differently, we take different actions. So let's live boldly, pray dangerously, and love wholeheartedly this week, my friends. God bless you.